Welcome to 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. Each week, I sit down with a different author to explore what lies behind the pages. Growth, purpose, finding your voice. Enjoy today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another amazing episode of 52 Authors, 52 Weeks with me, your host, Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator. And today I am joined by Dr. B, author of
Yes.
Dealmaker, How to Easily Raise Unlimited Capital for Your Deals. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you for having me. And thank you for the audience for listening.
So, Dr. B, before we get into the book, why don't you tell our listening, viewing audience a little bit about your background, just so that they can know who the author is for today?
Sure. A little bit about me. Dr. Jairo Borja. I'm the president, CEO of Borja Consulting Group, LLC. I've been, since its inception, it's all about training and development. Pivoted from uh, corporate, then I pivoted into entrepreneurship training the last 5 years. And I do a lot of help in curriculum development, curriculum review as well. And then the last year or so, I guess I don't want to say pivoted, but expanded into teaching folks how to raise capital through networking. I have a 90-day program called Elevation 90-Day Mastery, where I'm walking folks through the process, whether it's the pitch deck itself or being in the right rooms, networking strategies, in order for you to scale your business. And it works. I come from the real estate world a little bit, where how I got that knowledge, but the information that I drop in the book or even in the course, it's transferable. It could work in real estate, or it could work in the world of tech and founders and that whole Silicon Valley approach as well. Born and raised in Queens, New York, and I would say the last 11 years been here in New Jersey. I'm a suffering Mets fan, as you can see behind me here, and I've been to 21 WrestleManias.
Well, I'm in Chicago, so at the time of this recording, it is all about football.
That's right. That's right.
Um, the
Bears having a great year, but it took a while, right?
we are having a great year. And interestingly, I just finished reading a book earlier today. I'm
Mhm.
going to do a book review before the end of the year. One of our running backs from the 2008 draft class, which is Matt Forte.
That's right.
And so I realized that no matter what book I read, there are so many gems in different books across different disciplines that I believe that if you take your experience and bring it forward, you can help so many people. I believe in no experience left behind.
I agree. I agree 100%. Everyone has a story to tell. Has a story to tell. Excuse me. Story to
Yes.
tell.
And so you were a corporate hero.
Yeah. Yes,
Oh
for
my
sure.
gosh. I think I still have some PTSD from being in corporate America. And honestly, I think the longest duration of my quote unquote corporate years were spent at a university
Mhm.
where I taught online. And even though I have PTSD from the last 15 months due to a new leader that entered the scene, which I'm grateful for her because she helped me make my decision to leave. But I learned so many different skills from working at the university, curriculum
Yeah.
development. I'm like, I can develop a curriculum for most anything just based on, that time that I spent. So I'm grateful for that experience, but definitely looking forward to getting capital for this business. And so I'm interested in
Yeah,
what you have to say today. So
awesome. Let's do it.
I
Thank
want to really start off with what I believe is a really easy question, right? So we're not going to tell you guys everything that's in the book. You got to buy your own book.
buy the book, as they say.
Yes, buy the book, buy the book. I saw a TikTok video the other day that I was like, I need to do this with my book. But this person was like, buy the book, buy the book. I'm like, that looks a little interesting, but I think I'm going to try it because it looks like it was working for them. But nonetheless, what problem did you see over and over and over again that led you to write Dealmaker?
But the biggest one of the biggest problems we have in the world of business, right? Well, especially real estate. You either the reason why deals fall through is either you don't have a deal or you don't have the money, right? So, and a lot of times, 9 times out of 10, it's about the money, right? So a lot of people realize that they think it's just their own money. Like if I have a deal or I want to do a duplex or triplex or whatever, it has to be their own money, right? You have to save for it. No, that's not the case. So my book Dealmaker helps solve that problem. The fact that you're able to use OPM or other people's money, and whether it's the bank, whether it's a hard money, whether it's private money, whether it's someone else's money, right? So the book talks about that. So the book talks about different tips and strategies how to build your power team, like how to have you go to attorney, you go to CPA, you go to banker, hard money lender, etc. Right? And then it also talks about the seeking mentorship and having folks that have been there, done that, so that you don't make as many mistakes as them per se. And then there's also the this, and then the book just talks about my journey of how I got to 52 units, to the 52 units in Southern Pines, and how I was able to despite not closing a couple of deals early on in my I guess real estate journey. I was able to help close and help raise money for a deal in Southern Pines, North Carolina. So after that, uh, probably 30 days later, help raise for a deal in Hickory, and then after that, just by serendipity, or you could say, or by accident, and then eventually now have a structured program, and then now recently helped the team with a raise in Cincinnati. So that's the problem, and that's the solution. And then the program and just working with me kind of helps you reading the book, and of course, if you take the next step or take action, right? If you're part of the program, the elevation program, it helps you not just walk through the bridge, but gets you over the bridge and then into the next level when it comes to raising capital.
I love that. So there's two things you said, which I think is really important. Number one, you talked about the importance of having your power team.
Yeah.
And when I coach individuals who are thinking about, making a transition in life and particularly growth in their career, one of the things that I really stress to them is this your hobby, or is this something that you really want to make that's going to grow and allow your family to live a comfortable life? I really don't focus on getting rich, right? Because, wealth can end in a matter of seconds, but having that power team, the attorney, the CPA, those folks are skilled in those areas, and you need their guidance, their counsel to help you navigate areas that you don't have a clue about. I remember when we got our first investment property, really my husband's, because I'm not really interested in investing, but he has a 9 to 5. He could not go to the closing. So I went. Luckily, we had hired an attorney who Yandy Morris, top notch.
Right.
This lady, when we were doing the closing, I knew all the things that they were talking about during this process. And so I felt comfortable with her expertise and me with, a level of intelligence that deal closed, and I didn't walk away feeling confused, or she didn't belittle me. And she was just like, if you don't understand, we can pause. We got time. And so I appreciated her knowledge and her being on our power team, because here we are 15 years later and all is well.
Exactly. So so you definitely know firsthand the importance of having the power team and great people in your corner.
Yes. Now my husband wants more properties, and if I could just get him to read this
Have
because
him read it.
he's not a reader, so that's the thing. But
The
it's
good
only
news
like
is there. I have good news for you. If he likes to listen to books, I have the audio version of it now. So there you go.
yes, and honestly, the book is only 92 pages of
Yeah, it's
content,
quick.
so
Yeah,
to me, it's quick,
yeah,
and the font is a reasonable size, so you can get through it pretty quickly, and you can do, one chapter at a time,
yeah.
and there are some QR codes in here you can scan, and
There you go.
I love the charts and all the things. We're not gonna tell them everything. I
Nah,
just
that's
want them
not.
to get excited. So, there's something else that I, learned early on, which is about relationships. And so in the book, you talk about networking and partnerships. To me, really they were kind of central themes in the
Yeah.
book. What does strategic networking look like to you?
Yeah, for me, and thank you for reading the book, by the way, Dr. Campbell, Lisa. If I could call you Lisa, right? We're friends now, right?
Sure.
As the importance of strategic networking is simple. Strategic, can't even talk today. It's simple. Like, I think a lot of times when we think of networking, we assume that we're going to attend every single BNI or LATIP or Chamber of Commerce event, we think by volume that's going to solve the issue, and that is not the case, right? I spoke about it in my summit, and I talk about it in my program and in the book. The importance of strategic networking. So, what does that mean? It means being in the right rooms with the right people, right? So, as an example, let's say I'm looking to raise X, Y, and Z of dollars, right, for a specific property, whatever. So, I would have a strategy, and behind that strategy involves being in the right rooms, such as it could be a private lender conference or family office conference, right? These are conferences where specifically you have people in the room that could write you a check for 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, right? Depending on the deal and circumstance. So it's all about being strategic and putting yourselves at the right place at the right time, and not just enrolling in every single networking event known to man, but being very intentional as far as what conferences and events you attend locally or nationally, right? So that's what I talk about, strategic networking. So that's what it's all about.
I love that. So I am a person who was strategic in networking among my profession.
Yeah,
But when I stepped into entrepreneurship, I didn't take that same mindset
yeah.
and surround myself with other entrepreneurs and leaders in that space. And one of the things that I found was just continuing to go to conferences in my industry. I was around people who were like, well, I've been at my job for 40 years and I'm going to retire, then I'm going to travel the world. And I was like, see, my mindset is different. Number one, I've already traveled the world. I continue to travel the world. At 52, I don't want to be 80 just starting to travel. So I
Right.
did it early and continue to do it.
There you go.
But my mindset was different. And I realized that theirs wasn't. And so in the book, you emphasize money is out there. I'm looking for the money.
It's true.
But
I'm looking for money too all the time.
But what thinking about mindset shifts, what mindset shifts does the reader need to make before they can successfully be attractive for an investor?
Yeah, I think for me it was very important even early on when I had my W-2, right? I Similar to you, right? I always we were trained, or I was trained, hey, you go to school, you get a good job, you work 40 years, and then you retire, and then you travel, right? Whatever, right? But then at some point, I guess like right before I resigned from my job and all that, I realized that that wasn't me, right? I wasn't gonna wait till like 70, 80 to travel, right? Or I wanted to control my own destiny earlier, sooner rather than later. So that's why I made a decision in 2018 to start it on the side, and then as it kind of like exploded a little bit, then I said in 2019 I made a decision uh, to to go all in on it, right? So, but to answer your question, it's all about mindset is important, right? I talk about it in a book. I talk about it in my program, in my summit. You have to understand that especially in entrepreneurship, right? You may not get that check every 2 weeks or every week, right? You got to understand that in order for you to get that consistency as far as not retention, as far as retainers, right, or consistent income, you have to fill that top of the funnel. You have to have conversations, like crazy, right. Like you have to have, like, as an example, 10 conversations, maybe three will work out to close one deal, right? So you have to know your numbers from that standpoint. So I think mindset is important, and understanding that. Once you understand that mindset, and then once you understand that, hey, that check may not come the next 2 or 3 weeks, I got to create this sense of urgency, and you have to step into that marketing role, right? Okay, if I'm gonna get this check or want this check in the next couple of weeks, I need to talk to 10 folks. And out of those 10, maybe three we could move on to from the discovery into the closing call, and maybe out of those three, I'll close one, right? And you have to, repeat that process over and over in order to get that done. So yeah, mindset's important. And again, it's about once you have that realization, then you're off to the races. So
I love it. I love it. So there's a couple of things that you said that made something pop into my mind.
sure,
So in the book, you talk about, and I don't know what page it's on, but you talk about how from a deal perspective, the end result is either a yes or no.
yeah,
And a lot of people have this mindset that no is a complete sentence, which it is in certain situations, right? But one of the things that I've learned about through reading, because I'm always reading,
right.
this book by Jia Jang, which was called Rejection Proof. And
Hmm.
so in the book, he talks about how he intentionally put himself in a position where people were going to reject his offer, which helped him build this tolerance for when the no comes. But in the book, I think you really allude to the fact that there are some things that we do that sets us on the path to no. What should we be focusing on to help us get to the yes?
I would say, I mean, repetition definitely helps, right? So the more at similar, I'm a baseball guy, right? So the more at bats you have, the better opportunities you have for that home run. But that's one. But two, I always say that I think where people make the mistake is in the not necessarily the networking piece, but the discovery call, right? I think they don't ask the right questions or the wrong questions. So then they get to the end and say, hey, do you want to invest 10K or can you invest 25K? Then the person says no or not now, and then you have trouble overcoming those objections. But if you was to ask the right questions, right, like even if, as an example, let's say if we were on a discovery call right now, Lisa, with you, and let's say if I was screening you in my head to see if you was eligible for elevation, I would ask you questions such as budget or timeline, sense of urgency, scarcity, right? So that this way, and then depending on how you answer those questions, then I'll know, okay, maybe it's worth entertaining a second conversation. I think where it gets lost, and I think people get lost in that discovery call. So I think if founders or investors or owners do a better job, or entrepreneurs do a better job on the discovery call, I think there'll be little to no objection at the end, right? Because let's say if I ask you, hey, is 20K or 10K, is that feasible? Yes. If you say, hey, are you willing to commit 2 nights a week for 12 weeks? Yes. Great. All right. Are you willing to also be involved in the chat? Can member of my team or me hold you accountable? Great. Okay. So sign up, right? So all leads you all the way to you're saying yes, 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 right? So it's more of a psychological thing, but most importantly, as an entrepreneur or folks in sales, is all about asking always the right questions.
So, there's a couple of things that you mentioned that I want to highlight. Some people are like, I don't know what a discovery call is. If you're a business owner, you need to know what a discovery
You need to
call
know what
is.
it is, right?
Yes. But another book that I read, let me tell you something. I
Sure.
made I don't want to call it a costly mistake. My husband probably would call it costly. But I signed up for, is this microphone on? I signed up about 3 years ago for this $30,000 coaching program.
Okay.
And while the coaching program had some amazing resources and great things to help me grow as a business owner, at the time that I signed up, I was still working my full time job. I did not have the time to commit to all of the resources. This coaching program was overloaded with so many resources that here we are. I'm no longer in the program. I'm still going through the modules
Hmm.
and I'm having some wins from the resources. But the time that I did it wasn't the right time.
The timing. Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so timing is very important, and
Absolutely.
so had I not been so emotional in the beginning, I was emotional because I was ready to quit.
Yeah.
I wasn't clear on my intentions, and I'm gonna just really share why.
Hmm.
I was working my full-time job. I had a healthcare consulting business, which in 2023 I closed, which
Hmm.
was the same year that I also resigned from my job.
Hmm.
But the year before that, I had started a different business, which is where I needed to shift my focus on, but I hadn't really done that at the time that I started the coaching program. So I wasn't mentally ready
Yeah.
to take advantage of the resources. So I think it's so important that entrepreneurs be very intentional, be very strategic,
Yeah.
but also take some time to know you,
Yeah.
right? Because
Agreed.
now might not be the time.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, agreed. It's all about timing, right? And if it's like you said, if it's in a situation like that, then it's just put you in a bad spot, right? You're gonna go 30,000 in the hole. No disrespect, but if you're not able to take advantage right away or see those immediate wins, it's gonna take long. And yeah, it's just the timing's not right. So
Well, let me tell you, every month, the first of the month, I look at my books and I have this line item in my software that is the path to recoup my 30K because I am determined that that investment,
you get an
even
ROI. Don't
I'm
worry.
gonna get my ROI,
You got an
right?
ROI. Yep. Yep. There you go. You will. You will.
But I'm on a mission. I'm on a mission. So beyond raising money for a single deal, in the book you talk about having everybody wants this fast path, but you talk
Yeah.
about having or building long-term investor relationships. What does that look like?
Yeah. So what that simply means is just don't be transactional and just like ask for people to invest 25K in a deal or 50K in a deal. It's all about not just having folks invest in your deal, but constantly staying in touch with that individual and constantly keeping them in the loop as far as progress of the project. And then by doing that, they'll really be appreciative of that. And then whenever you have another project coming up, you could go back to them and say, "Hey, look, I have this other deal." Or now that you know the process, now that you've been through the process A to Z, who else do you know that could take advantage of making double digit returns and double their money in 5 years? So
I love that. I love that.
yeah.
So we're almost out of time. What would you say is one of the main reasons why a capable entrepreneur still struggles despite having all of these ideas, opportunities for deals, but they're still struggling?
My advice to those individuals is I would say call me. No, but besides that, besides
Call
it,
me.
call me. Besides calling me, I would say go back to the situation, assess it, and I would say there's a lot of free resources out there. You have Score, you have the SBDCs throughout the country. Like if you're stuck where there's a business plan or marketing or other aspects of your business at its core, there's a lot of free resources out there that can kind of help you get to that next level, right? So use them as a resource. Leverage your power team, right? And then I would say I talk about mentorship in the book as well, right? Whether it's paid or unpaid, like I would say have a mentor to that could help, that can guide you through your challenges. So like for example, I have my mentor Mike Ely, shout out to him on the real estate side, right? And um I have other folks that are my mentors in other areas. So it's always important to have those individuals, whether it's formal or informal through a program or not, that you can go to when it comes to advice for struggling entrepreneurs.
Ooh, something you said that just really this was so juicy what you said. I have to highlight this.
Sure.
So, you talked about some of the free resources, right? The SCORE, the small
SBD,
business,
yeah,
yeah,
SBDC,
right,
yeah,
all of those,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I have utilized each and every one of those resources. And one of the things that I think is really important, those are not one-time use
yeah,
resources. You need to develop relationships with them because you never know who's in their network that they can
absolutely,
refer to you and vice versa. But the other thing that you said, which I think is so important, the coach has a coach.
yeah. Yep, yep, yep. That's right. I talk about it in the book, right? The
Yeah.
Tom Brady's, the Michael Jordans of the world, right? Even they have coaches, right? So there's not it's not an ego thing, nothing against you personally. So like there's a lot of blind spots that you may not see, and that's why it's important to have a coach, whether it's Dr. Lisa or Dr. Jairo or someone to kind of help you see that blind spot so that you could go and take take your business to the next level.
Yes, and please interview your coaches in advance to
That's
make
right.
sure they're
That's
the
right.
right coach for you.
That's right. That's right. Because there's situations or times where it may not be for you, right? So,
Absolutely. So
yeah.
before we leave, we're almost out of time. I would love to know, what does the future hold for you?
For me, the future holds for me maybe another book down the road. We'll see. For sure, just the expansion of my program elevation, where it's a 12-week program helping folks how to raise capital through networking, and I may even take this to the next level on the corporate side, and we'll see where that goes. So I'm still like flushing that piece out, but definitely looking to go B2B as well in some capacity.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And you know what? There's this statement that people perish for lack of vision.
That's
And
right.
so you definitely have a vision, but you also are intentional about when that next thing is going to happen. I believe that you're going to write another book
I will.
because you're going to be doing these different podcast
Yeah.
interviews, working with your clients, and you're going to be like, you know what? I've had the same question 100 times. Let me put it in a book because there's
Exactly.
1,000 more people out there who need answers to the same questions. So it's going to come to you.
Not exactly. No, but for sure another book will be done. It's on the down the pipeline.
Yes. So would you please tell our listening, viewing audience where they can find you?
Great question. You could find me on LinkedIn, Dr. Jairo Borja. They could also find me on Instagram, Borja Consulting Group, or they could go to my website, Borja Consulting Group, or BorjaCapital.com for more information. So thank you. Thanks for the
Love it.
opportunity.
Love it. I'm going to have my husband stalk your website.
Please do. Please
I'll have
do.
to, I'll have, I'll have to slide it to him during halftime or something because
Perfect.
I'll
Perfect.
have his full attention because we're always together during the
Good.
game. So
Good. Good. Good.
a
Please do.
perfect opportunity. So before we leave, do you have any final words of wisdom for our listening, viewing audience?
I would just say, in the world of raising capital, as far as words of wisdom, I would just say number one, be intentional as far as the goals you have. Number two, I would say be always communicative with whoever your investor is. Have a clear pitch deck and have a clear exit strategy, and make sure that whatever strategy you have, make sure you have a clear exit strategy to make sure that you get the money back. Make sure, right? So very important.
Show me the money.
Show me the money. That's
Well,
right.
listen, Dr. B, I'm glad I saw where we can say Dr. B because I was really
That's all
confused
right.
with your last name. Because I got a 70s baby name, Lisa and Campbell, very simple. But
All good.
everyone, I just finished chatting with Dr. B, author of Dealmaker,
That's right.
how to easily raise unlimited capital for your deals. So until next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you next week. You've just experienced another conversation from 52 Authors, 52 Weeks, Season 3. The conversation may pause here, but the growth continues. I'm Dr. Lisa L. Campbell, the Growth Motivator, and I'll see you next week.